Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, Podchaser, Tiki Live, and Rumble, and more, because I'm on a happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So I have to have the maximum broadcasting area square footage. So I am on all the major channels. So you can get me either live now or afterwards. And when you get me live, you can actually interact with me. And I know I see eyeballs here. I have a comment here as well. Oh, yay. Let me show you who's saying good morning. Dino Clayton Leon is saying good morning, and good morning back to you. And yes, we are super excited. Although I'm trying not to get a little concerned. I just talked with my favorite publicist. He actually liked my post last night, so I know we're connected. He accepted my friend request, but for some reason he is not answering his phone or text, but everything happens for a good reason. And so in the meantime, we can do my gratitude sandwich, which is pretty normal. And we will actually, Dino, do you want to come on? And the link is, oh, I didn't put the link in there, but why don't you post your gratitudes and then we can do that. Sam, I don't know if you're ready this morning to do your gratitudes. But for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I am Dr. Marissa, your host, producer of this show. And I am known as the Asian Oprah, not because I made that up, but I was actually introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah by Michael Bernard Beckwith, my big brother, one of the teachers of Secret, one of Oprah's 100 listers on Super Soul Sunday. And that was an honor to introduced to her like that. And she looked at me, smiled, looked down, looked back up at me and said, nice pants. And it took everything for me not to say, do you want? But anyways, so I want you to use today in the best possible way. So we started this, I think, about a week ago, where I'm using one of the Happy 88 tools from my best-selling book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are, which says if you start your day with eight specific gratitudes and end your day with specific appreciations about yourself, then you will have a great day because you've sandwiched your day in the best possible way. So because I do practice what I teach most of the time, even though the name of the show is Take My Advice, I'm not using it. I wanted to institute the gratitude sandwich. All right. So Dino started. Her first gratitude is she's thankful for a much needed date night and kid-free evening last night. LOL. I'll put that one on. That's a good one. I'm grateful that I have a full roster of wonderful. Okay. I have a full roster of wonderful people who are wanting to come on my show and be part of my production. All right. Sam, do you have a gratitude you want to pipe in? Sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't. All right, he does it. I'm grateful for the beautiful fall morning that looks like I'm walking into heaven. My daughter Sarah loves it when it's nice and foggy. I'm grateful that we live in Southern California, where the weather is almost always phenomenal. I'm grateful that I got to interview Carol Baskin from Tiger King when I was down in San Diego, and I'm going to bring you that interview next week on Monday. So that'll be interesting day. So keep it tuned here for that. I'm grateful that that's 5. I'm grateful that, tomorrow I get to go see the poppies in California for the first time. I've never seen those. I'm very excited about that. I'm grateful that I'm going to cover a protest about immigration downtown because I do reporting on the side, freelancing for New York News Agency. And then finally, number 8, I am grateful for all the support. People like Dino, who've been with me for a while, Sam, as he helps me in the studio, for all the listeners with me for 516 consecutive weeks. I believe that's the end of week 516. So thank you so much. Now, you see how easy that was to do 8 specific attitudes. The only rule is I don't want you to. I'm grateful for friends and family because it's not specific enough. So that's Dino has another great. I'm grateful for spring weather. Can't wait to see the flowers in full bloom. Wonderful, beautiful. What's your favorite flower? I think my orchid. If we can see the orchid on the table. Is it there? Yay, there's my orchid. And I know my big brother Michael said that flowers are really just evidence of God smiling at us, because they really have no other outside bees, but bees are actually helping them, and they are giving some sustenance to the bees. But it is true, flowers are a gift of life. I hope you're enjoying them. All right, now that you did your gratitudes this morning, at the end of the night before you go to bed, if you want to have a good night's rest, I have a prescription for you, and that involves taking this thing called your phone and plugging it in, not by your bedside, because the temptation to go to bed doing this, all right, and then clicking to this and the next is too tempting for me. And usually I end up reading a lot of different facts about people that don't mean anything. I mean, they're people, but really, did I really need to know or think or wonder or then talk or get angry about that? So I plug this in another room, and then I do my 8 appreciations. 8 appreciations are things that I appreciate myself. So instead of beating myself up, which I'm really good at, I learned as a child because people beat me up as a child, I instead focus on what I did well today, what I'm good at, what I'm proud of myself for, and I develop that soul of self-approval. That means I'm less likely to think about all the things that are wrong with me, all the things that are wrong with other people, and that's the bottom sandwich. All right, does that make sense? That's the gratitude sandwich. And we'll be right back with more of Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. No, is my mic on? Hi, my name's Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah and the celebrity host producer of your morning drive time show, 8 a.m., called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I'm on a happy 88 mission. That's 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And therefore, I'm delighted to tell you we're going to start something new that balances out all the bad news and gives you something to smile about. Yes, I'm starting a compliment line. So if there's a compliment that you want to pay someone, maybe your boss, maybe that cute person that you've got your eye on, then you can do so by calling 888-909-1050 and tell my screener that I have a compliment for Dr. Marissa. So I'll put you on so you can give that compliment and feel good about giving it, and the person receiving will feel good as well. There's more than one way to be happy with Dr. Marissa. Keep it tuned here to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show at 8 a.m. weekday mornings here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Oh my, I've been muted this whole time, huh? Okay, did I? These are one of the days where you're like, okay, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. But I'm so excited. Guess what?
Oh my
I
goodness.
have my guest, and I'm so glad that I got you. I can stall for a little while, but you know,
We're reaching the end of your tether. I am so apologetic. I'm so sorry. I had the wrong time.
Absolutely. No, I'm so grateful that you're here. Let me read a proper introduction for you. So grateful that I got you on the show. Partly because your mom said so many nice things about you in our interview, and I love your mom so much.
Thank you.
So here we go. Jim Meskimen is an actor, impressionist, voiceist, and improvisational comedian. Best for his work on Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Impress Me. Currently playing Colonel Sanders in the KFC commercials, as well as President George Washington crossing the Delaware Turnpike for Geico, which led his mother, my beloved Marion Ross, Mrs. C from Happy Days, to claim that she's mother of father of our country. And now with his own star on the rise, Jim has appeared in films such as Nixon, Apollo 13, and The Paper, recently adding series such as Amazon's Hunters with Al Pacino, Carol Kane, Saul Rubinek, and Starz Network Gaslit, opposite Penn and Julia Roberts. The Apple TV's The Big Door Prize by the creator of Schitt's Creek. And that Schitt's Creek, I'm not allowed to say bad words because it's an FCC violation. So I want to make sure we got Creek in there. And then he has a very one active YouTube channel and was on America Got Talent. Please welcome to my show, Jim Meskimen.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you so much. It's really kind of you. Thank you.
Absolutely. No. We're good. I got to do my bite of a gratitude sandwich that I usually start with, so that people start their day with the most positive things. So many things to talk, and we're going to get signed with by the end of the show. So I'm just gonna, whatever comes to mind, I'm gonna ask you, and then if you could answer in whatever voice that you think would best fit the question. This is going to be a game.
Okay,
all right, just a little challenge. Have you had your coffee? All right.
Okay. Take a sip of water.
Yes. Mine too. Here we go. At what age did you know that you wanted to follow your mom's steps and go and do Hollywood?
Well, I think, when you think about it, I think I really was a zygote. I was pretty cellular at that point. And we had a very strong relationship. We had an umbilical between us, it's true, but we didn't let it get in our way.
I love Robin Williams, and I love your poem that you brought. If you haven't gone to his, I put up the link yesterday, hoping people would go preview that. If you have not seen his poem after Robin passed, please do go and see that. It is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
So your mom actually said that she was hoping you did not go and follow its steps, because I was surprised. And she said it was because of all the rejection that is in Hollywood, and that we probably don't think about. We see, that star rise or whatever. How do you deal with rejection so that it doesn't take you down?
Well, first I'll answer this as Matthew McConaughey and say I got to let it sort of wash over you, not put too much attention on it. But the truth of the matter is, rejection is a huge part of it. And I think it's a huge part of anybody's life, but it just happens on a more regular rhythm, and it is built into the fabric of being an actor's life, because you are putting yourself up, you physically, your voice, your choices, your appearance, you're putting those up to be judged constantly. It's like a sales cycle, and if you're too sensitive about it and take it too personally and agree with the fact that, maybe these people know better than I, my level of talent or my level of beauty or whatever, if you give them that power, if you will, then it will eat you up, because there's just no end to it. Even the biggest stars, I imagine, still take meetings with big directors, and still that somebody calls them up and says, you know what, he's going in another way. And if you don't have I don't want to say a thick skin, because it's not a process of putting up more and more impenetrable barriers. I think the answer is understanding the process and understanding who you are, and that what these other guys think is the key thing.
Mm-hmm. And when I saw a clip where you actually said you want to, I think it was on America's Got Talent, you want to be able to make your kid and your wife and your mom proud. I want to say to you that they're already proud, and that for me, success is the journey. I've had a beautiful long journey, and you are successful. You're amazing. You've taken your unique gift, talent, and ability, and continuing to make smile and laugh and entertain. And so I just want to say you are already successful, and that you feel that love, and that feel that from people around you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. I do feel that way, and
Good.
but it is very important to me. You know, how is my family? You know, that means a lot more to me. Like, how are they doing? Can I help them? My mom, who's now 93 and needs a lot more help, and my up and coming actress daughter, Taylor, who's 31 and is so wonderful, and my wife, who's just extraordinary. My attention is on what can I do to make their life easier. I don't always do it, but that is my intention.
Intention is what counts. So, what your first voice where you knew this was your gift?
That's a good question. I've had that question stated in other ways, like what was the first voice you remember doing? But you're asking something more specific, where I knew that I had some competence and that there was something there.
Yes.
And I want to say that, you know, in the 70s we had a lot of unique voices, just as today. But in the media and in movies and stuff, we had Marlon Brando still around. I do remember we were watching The Godfather on TV, I think, and I started to drop into The Godfather. And I remember my mother laughing as I made some sort of a joke about something he would never say. And I remember her laughing, and I remember feeling it. And also around that time, I remember All in the Family. And Edith Bunker. And I realized that I could go into an Edith Bunker. And then I would kind of play with it for quite a while, so that I had the muscle memory of, I can just hit that. I can just drop into that. And that's pretty good. I didn't have any view that, wow, this is going to be my career, or how can I use this tool to, entertain other people? But I knew that I had the seeds of something that was like, oh, that's what this little bit of competence feels like.
All right. You are very, very not just talented with the voices, but the speed in which you do it, which you're demonstrating now. You got a wow is so good. I don't know if you can see a comment from people who are chatting.
Dee says, wow, he's so good. Thank you, Dee. Thank you ever so much. From Patrick Stewart, whom I resemble more every day, I'm afraid. I say thank you very much.
Wonderful. When you were on America's Got Talent, this giant board of names, and at first I'm, what is this? But you had the judges pick the names randomly and then go right to it. That's another skill set. How often do you practice?
Well, I must have practiced a lot. I know that when I was in New York City doing improv, we developed a kind of a form that we would do in the show every week, where I would do rapid impressions. We would take a person from history and make a biopic about that person, starring, Casey Kasem and Ronald Reagan, and there was a whole list that we would give the audience to shout out the names. So I got used to, like a short order cook, being able to deliver on lots of impressions, one after the other. And I didn't see it as practice necessarily, but I became quite facile. And but a lot of great impressionists are that way. Frank Caliendo is a wonderful impressionist who's also very fast and can go from one to the other. But I think it's a wonderful kind of magic act for audiences. I get a lot of comments that, wow, you do that so fast. How do you do it so fast? And for me, it's like, well, I practiced a lot.
Is it the 10,000 hour rule where
do
you do it in front of the mirror?
I don't do it in front of the mirror. No, I probably should, but the
well,
mirror in my house is usually occupied, so I can't get it.
Two women, right? Not going there. So, anyways, I'm getting this signal that I need to take a break for the news and sports. So don't go away.
On the flip side,
Jim Meskimen is coming back for another session I can't wait to hear his Robert De Niro. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here with my special guest, the son of Marion Ross, who you remember when she came in the studio at age 89 and was amazing. And he and I will be back right after this break on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Go. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. We will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, you will be in a place of balance and inner peace, the way we were created. 谢谢. And today's show is sponsored by my friend Joe at Collision Repair Consultants. Take a listen. So what do you do when you have an accident that makes a mess of your car? My go-to shop is Collision Repair Consultants, and they are actually on the preferred list of my insurance company, which makes it even better. Joe, Alex, Michelle, and all the guys will do their best to make the accident as hassle-free and pain-free as possible, with a warranty and guarantee for their work for life. If you are looking for a great body shop, go to Collision Repair Consultants and tell them that Dr. Marissa sent you. Give them a call at 562-218-8900. That's 562-218-8900. Tell them Dr. Marissa sent you. Are you having a tough time?
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 2.33, FM 106.55, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, Audible, iTunes, TuneIn, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. And why? I want the maximum splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So this show, there's no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk at all. I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy. So I have guests and topics to that end. And I have a very special guest to that today. Since laughter is my favorite sound in the world, Jim Meskimen, who is not only the son of my beloved guest, Marion Ross, Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days. He's also a very accomplished, and he's everywhere, kind of like people say about me. So many different productions as both an accomplished artist, actor, and impressionist. Welcome back to the studio, Jim Meskimen.
Well, thank you, Dr. Marissa. And I have a question for you. Is it true that you don't take your own advice?
88% of the time, I do take my own advice. That 12% of the time, I'm just absolutely, screw it.
Well, if you're only 12% screwy, you're ahead of most of us. That's for sure.
Thank you. And I do have someone that just commented, or Dino, she's assuming you can do Jim Carrey because you're Jim. So let's see if we can. Good question to ask.
Well, I have a lot of respect for Jim Carrey. I worked with him on The Grinch. I worked with him for 4 months on The Grinch, and that was a very uncomfortable time for him because he was in that very elaborate suit that was not built for comfort. It was built for looks. And as you know, you ladies know, sometimes the dress doesn't feel as good as it looks. And he was covered literally from head to toe, and even his even his eyes were covered with, and his teeth were covered. I mean, he felt, I think, very claustrophobic. So all that to say, I'm treading water here a little bit. I don't really do a Jim Carrey impression because it's interesting. He does these very over the top characters, which are like cartoon characters, and I tend to specialize more in the actual sound of just the native speaker, the guy without putting on a lot of stuff. So that's just where my interest lies. But I have tremendous respect for Jim Carrey, and I would work with him again anytime.
Beautiful. Now, have there been other people who you've met that you have in your pretty common repertoire, and was the reaction when you broke into it, or did you not?
Well, for example, I know Ron Howard pretty well because I've done 5 films with Ron, and I grew up. Of course, I met him as a young man. He was a young man. He was an older young man than I was, but we were both young men. And that's my Ron Howard voice.
Yes,
and,
very good.
I've made it a bit of a policy not to present the impression to the person if I can, at least not just one-on-one, because you can't really win there. We talked about rejection a little bit before, and there is a cousin to rejection is evaluation. Nobody really likes to be evaluated, and I think if you do an imitation of somebody, they instantly take it as a kind of a judgment of one kind or another, because they go, oh, that's how you see me. Oh, I see. You've isolated those small parts of me, and you think that that's who I am. And so I try to never do it if I can. And luckily, I don't run into that many celebrities, so it's usually pretty safe territory. But I did omit to do this to my shame when I met Sam Elliott one day. And I was at a sound studio, and he was sitting down on a couch, and I didn't expect to round the corner and see him. And so I just done a kind of a Sam Elliott sound for some sort of a trailer or something. I was excited about it, and I told him about it in his voice, and I immediately felt like, "You idiot! What are you doing?" So,
what was his reaction?
He was very gracious. He said, "Well, you can get right down there, can't you?"
Beautiful. I love with you, Robin Williams, of course, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. Yeah, you mentioned that before, Robert De Niro. But doing that, that's another person who, I narrowly escaped actually doing my impression too, and I think he would have been less diplomatic, let's say, than Mr. Elliott.
Especially when you say all the time that you're like his smile is upside down or something.
His mouth is upside down. Yeah.
I actually met him in Sona, so that was kind of cool.
Say that again. I'm sorry, I missed that.
I actually met him in Sedona, at the grocery store. They closed down the grocery store just for him, so he doesn't have to deal with it. But you know, that is a question that I have about, you know, Hollywood and recognized and or not being recognized, or the whole life as a comedian impressionist. They say that to be a comedian is the hardest job in the world. Like it is like the most difficult to, you know, sort of deal with, and that's why a lot of comedians are naturally depressed or naturally, you know, very emotional or sensitive, because you need that to be in your craft. Just speak to that for a little. That's just like a preconception that I'm testing out with you.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, when you first say that to me that a comedian, first of all, I'm not actually a stand-up comedian. I'm more of an actor who does comedy. You know, I don't go to comedy clubs. But that's basically what I think, and I think I've answered the question pretty well. Anything else?
My engineer did that, or if I touched something on my keyboard,
Well, I'm glad it was you and not me. So comedians, when you say the comedians have the toughest job, I think the people that lay pipe in like Alaska, or even people that deliver babies, I think that's a tougher job. I think, you know, there's a lot tougher jobs being a comedian. However, I think any job is difficult if you don't understand your relationship to it and what you should be doing. And if it's a job that you love, that you feel very motivated to do personally, then it's, you know, it gets a little bit easier because it doesn't feel like a job, right? It just feels like your life. Like I've been working out with a trainer named Eric the Trainer, and I just love him. I've been asked, I'm working on a new TV project, and they wanted me to be a little more physical fit. And I went, oh, okay, well, I go to the gym, but I'll go to a trainer. So this guy, Eric, the trainer, he always tells me that he is doing exactly what he loves in the place that he loves, and working with people and helping bodies get more fit and helping actors become more, you know, attractive and more physically like the characters they're playing and stuff. And he's very motivated that way. And he feels like a big kid playing all day. Now, what he does is very tough because it takes a lot of understanding. He was the last protege of the great Jack LaLanne. So, you know, he has a lot of knowledge, and he said to work hard to get it. Plus, he's got to help all us idiots that don't know how to lift weights and how many reps to do. So, I mean, there are tough things about it. I mean, imagine he has to pay bills and predict about how to promote his business and things like that. But because he loves it, he doesn't care. He's having a great time. It's what he should be doing. It's what he's good at. So I tend to also, at this point in my career, gravitate towards things that I really enjoy. And I've been fortunate to be able to pursue those things. And so the tough part comes when there are too many obstacles, I guess. But I'm very fortunate. You know, I do Colonel Sanders for the KFC brand. And I've been doing that for quite a while. And that sort of just, I sort of fell into that one. But that's because for me, when I hear someone with an interesting voice, and I got a little bit of a tape recorder in my head, then, you know, I can figure out how to make it interesting to other people. And that's fun for me, you know, and I've been able to do a lot of fun things like that.
Are you actually in costume then?
No.
Okay, you're
only the voice, and only for radio and some of the TV voiceovers where you'd see sometimes the Colonel's hands lifting a bucket of chicken, and that's generally me.
Got it. Good. I was gonna say you grew a lot of hair there.
Yeah. Well, I've done some deep fake Colonel Sanders stuff just on my own, where I did appear on camera. I don't have quite the girth. But,
yeah, I was going to say that too.
Also, he had a very round head.
And a huge bush mustache, which didn't look fake.
It wasn't. No.
And just a little tiny goatee there, like some of the jazz musicians have.
Yes. Tell me about you. You're developing an online course to help do sort of what you do. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I had a lot of people saying, "Hey, how do I break into voiceover?" Especially with the pandemic, right, where
Right.
every actor suddenly found themselves with a whole lot of talent and nowhere to put it. And so the people that were able to do voiceovers from their home, or put a little closet together, were able to weather that pretty well. And I did a lot of audiobooks and Colonel Sanders stuff, and even video games from my home studio. So I get a lot of people asking me, how do you do that? How do you get into it? And so I rather than explain it every time for a couple hours, I've developed I'm putting the final touches on an online course that anybody would be able to get and to study and find out about what are the basics to these things. Also, just the basics of how to be a working professional. I saw from my mom, Marion Ross, what some of the things were that one would have to do to raise a family as an actor. And in some ways, it's easier today than in her day. In some ways, it's tougher. It's changed. There are obviously so many platforms and so many shows and channels, you can't even keep up with it. But there were a lot of fundamentals that I learned from observing her, and then my own experiences of being an actor for 35 years in New York and Los Angeles that gave me the background and a set of things that I do, tools that I use to maintain this career, to keep going, to raise my family, to pay the mortgage and all those things, even in the tough times that we've been through.
Right. How do people find especially this online course to be able to take it?
Well, it's a little. I'm being a little premature here and tell you that that's
okay.
what I'm working on. It's almost done, and it will be. We will be promoting it all over social media, so you will
Wonderful.
see you'll see my poem, and you'll know about it when it's already. It's going to be great. Also, of course, in doing impressions. So those few people out there that are interested in pursuing impressions for fun and profit, or just for fun, then you can find out about that too. But it'll be released very soon. So if you go to my website, either any of my websites on Instagram, where I'm at Jimpressions, or my YouTube channel, which is also called Jimpressions, then you'll get the word.
Beautiful. Besides Edith Bunker, do you do women's voices?
That's a question I'm asked a lot. I do Ariana Huffington, who is a broadcaster like you. Probably you have met her. I don't know. But she has a wonderful Greek accent, and just a marvelous way of talking.
But I don't do too many females because, it always sounds like you're mocking them. I have to go into falsetto. Judi Dench is someone who I don't have to go into falsetto to do. The great Dame Judi Dench. So, but there's not much call, really, for people imitating Judi Dench. She does so much work on her own.
That's great. I'm just adding your, let's see, is your website, I'm going to add it to your name so people
It's just jimmeskimen.com, yeah. But my YouTube channel, I'm also on TikTok.
That's what's the thing on TikTok?
The TikTok is just blown up recently. I finally decided to.
Good.
My daughter helps me, and we tackled TikTok not too long ago.
Because I actually have one too, but don't tell my daughter.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. Actually, my TikTok handle is at Jim Meskimen, one word, at Jim Meskimen.
Jim, see if this fits on here. Save. Nope, too many. too many characters.
New characters. Yeah, the TikTok thing is interesting because it is really an attention suck. But I've been just putting up very short little impressions of videos, and there's something very satisfying about suddenly going from having a few hundred followers to having a few thousand followers and having to move up from there. I'm sure it's a bit of an empty reward, but at least you have there's the possibility that somebody's getting a laugh, and people do comment and say that they enjoy it and that it's fun, and so great. That's
just
what I'm trying
assume
to do.
that people are laughing. Sure.
Yeah.
That's
And
case scenario.
like you, I'm trying to have a positive impact on a lot of people. So, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of noise and bad news. There's as much of that as you want to consume. And so it's up to artists, I think, to provide something that's either beautiful or fun or relaxing or funny. And so
Yeah.
hopefully we can reach a lot of people with that.
Right. Dee Knowles going to follow you on TikTok. And I am going to give you, just for what you're saying, and when I saw the piece you did with the voices about world peace, I wanted to give you the same award that I gave to your mom, which is Dr. Marissa Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Wow. Hey, that's nice. Thank you.
Hey, yeah.
That's kind of you.
We really, I need help, and from people like you, to balance out all the bad news that is so readily available, and have something to laugh and smile and be positive about. So you're definitely helping me with it, and I appreciate it. So tell us what's going on right now that people can tune in and watch you on.
Yeah, well, coming up in April 24th, I'm in a series called Gaslit, which is about the Watergate period, and specifically about Martha Mitchell, who was the Attorney General's wife and was kind of a loose cannon and a interesting figure. She's being played by Julia Roberts, who also executive produces it, and John Mitchell's played by Sean Penn. And I worked with both of these fine actors, and I play a senator, and it's very interesting production. I think it'll be very popular and worth watching. It's called Gaslit, and it starts on the Stars Network on April 24th. So coming up just in about less than a month. And then currently I'm filming a show called The Great Door Prize. Not The Great Door Prize, The Big Door Prize. The Great Door Prize will be down the road when they expand.
Next level.
Just the Big Door Prize right now, with the very fine and funny actor Chris O'Dowd. Thank you. It's still early morning here. Chris O'Dowd, who is a terrific young actor, and I like him very much. He's Irish and just terrific and funny and lighthearted. So I'm working on that, and that's going to come out, God knows when, probably maybe later this year. I hope so. We're just shooting the final episodes of season 1 this month and next. And where else can you see me? I'm in this. Yeah, you mentioned Hunters. There's an episode of Hunters, the Al Pacino series, the Nazi hunting series, that I will be seen in also. I can't tell you too much about this, but it is a wonderful part, and I enjoyed it very much doing it. I did not get to meet the immortal Al Pacino. However, I did meet the immortal Carol Kane and worked with her, and that was a lot of fun.
Beautiful. Look forward to seeing all of those. So the last question I ask all my guests is, to who or what are you most grateful for? Who or what are you most grateful for?
Well, I mean, we've sort of been pimping this question the whole time, haven't we? I'm very grateful to my mom, to Marion Ross. She set a great example. She made a great life for me. She was a single mom raising 2 kids and on an actor's salary, and she used her ambition for good, and just set a really great example for me and my family. So she's the one that we salute every day.
Yeah, I love her so much. She was so kind to me on the show, and she goes, "You really should be an actress. I don't understand why you're not an actress."
She's very big on telling people what they should be doing. and she'll say things, and she'll come up to total strangers and go, "Well, we could just fix those teeth."
God love her. She called me a wonder. That's like one of the best compliments I've ever gotten, and it's on. So anytime I'm not feeling like I'm a wonderment, I tell that critical voice, "Well, Marion Ross, I was a wonderment." But that's great.
I'll tell her I saw you.
I'm sorry.
I'll tell her I saw you when I see her later today.
Oh, good. And she's welcome back anytime. So yes, and give her a huge hug from me. Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I didn't know I was a single mom. She didn't say that. So that you just gave me another wow, that's
I know.
incredible.
Yeah.
And then your sister is also in the industry. She told me that, which is great. So I wish you and your family the very best as you continue to bright light in the sea of lights, and best of luck in everything. So thank you so much for coming on. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get on with Dr. Marissa morning show. If you could do this with me, I'm going to cut it and use it in the promo. This is what I do at the end of every show, and when I do Dr. Marissa reading live. So I do peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.
So say it again.
Peace in and peace out, world peace through inner peace.
Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace.
World peace. Okay, we're going to do it together. Ready?
Yeah.
And peace in, peace out,
world peace through inner peace.
And one more time, Robert De Niro.
Peace out, peace in, world peace, through inner peace. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining me and getting to know Jim Meskimen. Go visit him at jimmeskimen.com. Go to his YouTube channel. Really great stuff. I spent quite a bit of time there yesterday. And if you want to be an impressionist, look for his online course that is coming up. Look for him all over shows. And keep it tuned here. Monday, I'm going to have Carol Baskin interview that with her. She's one from Tiger King. And yes, I do ask her if she killed her husband. So keep it here on Take My Advice. I'm not using Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Now go forth and multiply the funny that you are. This is Dr. Marissa live from my living room during the pandemic, wishing you the best weekend ever.